Today's video is sponsored by myself and my webshop tsmc.shop. Please go check it out. The new website is now live and we're constantly adding new products to get you a better shopping experience and the best possible tools and materials for your hobby needs. In today's episode, we're going to move on to the interior on the Alpha model Aston Martin Vantage. For all of the painting, at least the airbrushing, I will be using the Gaahlerie Mobius airbrush. In this case, I'm going to be using the 0.2. In previous episodes, you've seen me use the 0.3. Basically the same airbrush with a couple of small changes, but mainly the nozzle and needle are smaller, so it's a lot better for finer and smaller details, and that's why I decided to use it for the interior. Overall, I'm really happy with the quality of these airbrushes. They have gone up a lot since their previous airbrushes that I tested on the channel a while ago. They feel a lot more premium, a lot smoother, and they spray really, really nicely. Yet they are still very affordable, and I do really recommend them. So if you want to check them out, I will be leaving a link in the description down to the Gaahlerie website. They have many more other projects to offer as well, but mainly the Mobius airbrush is the one that I would recommend to try out. Now, since I went pretty wild as far as color goes on the exterior of the Aston Martin, I'm not sure if you guys remember, as that video was posted quite a while ago, but it's green-yellow that you can see right here. I decided not to go extreme on the interior, but just keep it cool and add some highlights. Now, there are some special editions, and there are some special edition decals in the kit from Alpha Model as well. I will not be using all of them, and I will not be placing them exactly where the special editions have them, but I will be making my own TSMC edition, so to speak. Now, for that, I'm going to go for a mainly black interior with some of these highlight green, yellow-ish colors. Specifically on the door cards, I will be using a very small section and then touching that up with some decals later on. But for this smaller section, there weren't any decals, so I just needed to paint that myself. So all of the parts were first sanded, then primed, and in this case the yellow was applied. I let that cure, masked it off, and then moved on to painting the rest black before I can start applying the decals. So with the painting now done, I could move on to the decals. Now these are pretty simple and straightforward, as they are just straight lines. Now there are some decals for stitching as well, but I will not be using them, as those are simply held to place and not really much of it will be seen, as it pretty much fades away into the black background, and therefore I decided not to hassle with it and just use the ones that I'd like to see and pretend that all of the stitching is just black. The special edition that I mentioned earlier also has these top stripes on the headrest for the seat, but I decided just to keep it with the seat back and not do it on the headrest, so I had some spare decals which I then applied onto the dashboard to continue the center stripe that can be seen in some of the middle console bits for the rear too, which you will see later on. However, these decals end up being a little bit too glossy and not really fitting in with the rest of the leather style interior, so I decided just to apply a flat clear coat on all of the interior parts again, just to smooth it out and make it all fit together with the same glossy or lack of gloss, and have a nice semi or flat finish to simulate some sort of leather look. Now on the center console, specifically where you select the gears and all the other buttons are in this car, there is also a part that can be ordered, or at least on some of those special editions, in the same lime green yellow that is used on the exterior. Now that is, I believe, painted in a gloss. I decided to do it in a flat to make it look like a leather, to match the stripes on the seats and on the dashboard. And the center section of that needs to be painted black, and some decals needed to be applied there as well. So that was done. A flat clear coat was applied to make it match the rest of the interior, and in the meantime you can also see me started on the assembly already. On the dashboard, you also need to apply a couple of photo etch pieces for some speakers and some grill meshes for the vents. I forgot to add the vents before painting the dashboard black, so those were glued in, and then I will be painting them black by hand. But the ones for the speaker grills I intentionally left out, as I wanted them to be silver, and then with a bit of a wash from some Panelline accent color I will tone them down to fit in a little bit better with the decals that were supplied for the door panels. For some of the hand painting in this project, I will be using some colors that I recently added to the webshop, the hsMVY.shop website. These are from Mr. Hobby. I've heard a lot of good things and I wanted to try them out myself for a while, so I decided just to take the leap, add them to the webshop, and also test them out myself on some of the builds. Firstly, starting off with some brushing on details that you can see me do here, and then further on in time I will probably also start to try and airbrush some of them, as they are pretty good for that too, so I've heard. I haven't tried it yet, but so far with the brush painting alone, I'm already really happy with how they work. They cover really good, really smooth, and also dry super fast. So I'm pretty excited to see what they can do through an airbrush. If you want to see some projects where I test specific brands or lines of paints on a build, do let me know down in the comments below. I have the idea to try out a full build with only Tamiya paints, maybe some of the X or XF ranges, LP ranges, and I could also do some on Vallejo, or maybe even with the Mr. Hobby or Mr. Color colors that you see me use here. Do let me know if you think that is a good idea and something you want to see on the channel, and maybe also give me some other ideas while you're adding a comment down below anyway. Thank you guys for helping me out with the channel and with the web shop. Everything is much appreciated. For all of the gluing, I'm using some Bob Smith Industries Super Gold Plus, which is available in my web shop. Links will be in the description down below. But sometimes it's not really that great of a bond, and therefore you could scratch up both of the areas that you're gluing together for the glue to seep into all of those scratches and rough marks to get a lot better of a bond and something much more permanent. So that is what I decided to do with a knife, just put some scratches and lines in it, and that just helps the adhesion a lot better and prevents it from breaking off easily later on. Now for the final shots, I'm just assembling the interior here, but the dashboard and door panels will later on be needed to be placed in the body first, so this is just a loose fit up for some of the overall shots of what the interior looks like assembled, without the body on it of course. Let me know what you guys think of this interior. I think it is pretty good and it came out really nice. It's not overdone, but the yellow highlights do fit in really nicely with the exterior work.